DBS News. Fresh in the morning, eye-opening and balanced. The DBS Morning News starts right now.
This morning's headlines: a 26-year-old of Grand Bay has emerged the new Miss Dominica. Danisha Yuzeb has won the title this morning. In news from the region, Mexico sends aid to Cuba as Cuba faces crisis after the United States shuts down its supply of oil. On the international scene, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party wins landslide majority in first election since the Gen Z uprising. And in sports, the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup has delivered its first major upset of the tournament, with Zimbabwe beating Australia this morning. Good morning, I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Major Morning News. The details right after this.
Need one trusted place to stock up for your home, shop, or business? Fine Foods Inc. Distribution has got you covered. From dry goods and frozen foods to your favorite drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, plus all the household must-have. We've got it all under one roof. We're right here in Jimmy Dominica. And yes, we deliver fast. Whether you're running a supermarket, a corner shop, a bar, or just like your pantry full and happy, Fine Foods Inc. brings you the best brands you know and love. Great prices, top-tier service, trusted products. Call us at 255-6810 or 316-0164 or drop by our Jimmy location to check out what's in store. Fine Foods Inc.
Fine Foods Inc. The biggest distributor for the biggest brands.
Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
So fast pay, a new and easy way to pay. So fast pay, so fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So fast pay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. So fast pay, so fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
DBS News.
Welcome back, and first up in the news this morning, a 24-year-old of Grand Bay has emerged the new Miss Dominica. Danisha Yuzeb won the title at Windsor Park Stadium this morning. Shermaine Mills of Jimmet and St. Joseph was the first runner-up, while Sancha Tyson of the Kalinago territory was the second runner-up. Miss Dominica Danisha Yuzeb received awards for Best Performing Talent, Best Response to Question, and Best in Swimwear. She also took awards for Miss Amity, Best Platform Community Project, Videos, and the People's Choice Award. The second runner-up, Sancha Tyson, received awards for Best in National Spectacular Wear, Best in National Spectacular Wear, and Miss Photogenic. Other awards on offer, Best Evening Wear and Best in Evening Wear, went to Dana Eugene of Grand Bay, and Dana Granu took the award for Best Swimwear. Miss Dominica Danisha Yuzeb was elated to have captured the title.
Surprisingly, I was calm throughout, especially the interview. I even surprised myself that I exuded confidence. I answered my question, thoroughly and well. And since then, I think that calmness just remained, and I was able to execute properly.
What are your plans right now with the Crown in hopes to propel your platform forward?
Yes, so I've already collaborated with the St. Nicholas Animal Shelter. So what I hope to do is to go into schools to educate our youth on animal welfare, because as we know, any change we like to see should always start with education. And I also would like to host fundraising campaigns to support projects such as spaying and neutering of stray animals, so we can control the uncontrolled stray animal population in Dominica.
And that was Miss Dominica Danisha Yuseb of Granby. First runner-up, Shireen Mills, says consistency was key as she was able to hold on to the position.
Well, I always had the idea that I would either place or a Miss winner. However, I feel very elated to be first runner-up. I consider my consistency and my calm demeanor to bring me to that spot. It has certainly uplifted my spirits. I know that I could have always done it with practice, effort, and my team. I know I would have always come out. Right now, I am really happy, although I did not emerge winner. However, from my participation in Miss Match Jamboree in 2019, I only got best talent. However, this time around, I got no best in, best off. However, I am first runner-up, and I'm proud of that consistency.
And that was first runner-up Shireen Mills. Dominica has been ranked number 1 on the list of 10 countries most affected by climate change over the last 30 years, which spans from the period 1995 to 2024. Leila Langford reports from the Climate Change Conference in Germany.
According to the latest data from German Watch, Dominica is listed alongside countries such as Grenada, India, Libya, Haiti, and the Philippines. Laura Schiffer, the head of international climate policy at German Watch, stated that this ranking is due to Dominica's exceptionally high economic losses relative to its gross domestic product, GDP, due to the fact that the country is one of the most hurricane-prone countries in the Caribbean. She advised the local authorities in Dominica to enhance climate risk management.
In the past 30 years, we saw that Dominica experienced 7 tropical cyclones causing over $3 billion damages and affecting 100,000 people. What countries like Dominica should do in reacting to these impacts is primarily improve their climate risk management. And climate risk management starts with preventing the risk, looking at are the different risks and hazards that are relevant for the countries, introducing adequate adaptation measures for these hazards, but also looking at climate change impacts that you can no longer prevent, so dealing with losses and damages. Also, for that, it's important to look at both economic losses and damages, but also non-economic losses and damages.
She emphasizes that the index should serve as a warning sign for policymakers and called on the international community to step in and assist countries like Dominica.
What is important for us to say is that this index is a warning signal that countries and particularly decision makers around the world should hear. And same for Dominica. It is a warning signal that Dominica is a country that is being hit by continuous threat, but also exceptional catastrophes like Hurricane Maria. And we therefore want to see concrete action in terms of climate risk management by policymakers. We also want to see mitigation action, particularly by high-emitting countries.
Laura Schiffer, the head of international climate policy at German Watch. The German Watch Climate Risk Index analyzes countries which are most affected by extreme weather events like floods, storms, and heat waves, ranking them by fatalities and economic losses. Leila Langford reporting live from Bonn, Germany for DBS News.
And we say thanks to Leila Langford for that report. In some more news this morning, Minister for National Security, Reuben Blackmore, has announced that the street jump up on Carnival Monday will be held from 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. Mr. Blackmore says he's hoping that the Carnival patrons will behave responsibly to ensure that the hours are not cut short.
Last year, we tried something when we actually had the actual Monday, which normally ended at 10 o'clock. But this year again, we'll be going back to 11 o'clock. That is from 4 a.m. to 11 o'clock on Monday, and from 8 to 10 p.m. The time that you just heard is going to depend on your behavior. So Mondays 4 to 11, and be each other's skipper, and if you don't behave yourself properly, of course the police have the authority to end whatever good time you're having. So let us put the public interest and the safety of all of us first.
And that was the Minister for National Security, Rayburn Blackmore. Band leaders and organizers have been told that they must abide by certain rules on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. Charlene White Christian of the Carnival Road Parade Committee says there will be consequences if band leaders fail to adhere to the rules submitted to them.
So while on parade, band leaders, band members, their marshals, drivers, and other officers are prohibited from bringing, displaying, or issuing open fire in any carnival band. So I'll say it again: bringing, displaying, or using open fire in any carnival band. Having in their possession, using, selling, distributing illegal drugs or substances in a carnival band. Bringing, using, or having in their possession any poisonous or noxious substances in any carnival band. Having in their possession any weapons. Conducting themselves in any other manner which is in breach of the laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica. A band leader or band member who is in violation of these rules shall be liable to be removed from the carnival band by law enforcement officials. And the carnival band in which any of them is a member shall be disqualified for judging. Now, these rules have been presented to the band leaders, so we are hoping that they take it very seriously.
And that's Charlene White Christian of the Carnival Road Parade Committee. Meantime, Chief Executive Officer of the Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams, says the stage is set for the hosting of 2 days of street jump up on Monday and Tuesday next week.
We've 5 days to go before Carnival, Monday and Tuesday, February 16 and 17. I am pleased to confirm that Dominica is prepared for Mass Dominic 2026. Carnival is a major economic driver within our first quarter tourism performance. It stimulates demand across accommodation, transportation, food services, retail, and entertainment, while strengthening Dominica's visibility within the regional market. Mass Dominic is culture in motion, and it is commerce in action. Current industry indicators are encouraging. Accommodation providers are reporting strong occupancy levels, particularly from regional Caribbean markets and the diaspora. Air access continues to support steady inbound traffic, and stakeholders across the tourism value chain are positioned for a high activity weekend. This momentum reinforces Carnival's role in supporting livelihoods and generating economic circulation at community level.
And that's the Chief Executive Officer of the Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams. Well, let's head into news from the region this morning as 2 Mexican Navy ships have arrived in Cuba laden with humanitarian aid as part of Mexico's efforts to support Cuba amid a deepening crisis caused by Donald Trump's economic pressure campaign. The boats carrying more than 800 tons of aid arrived nearly 2 weeks after President Trump signed an executive order allowing the United States to slap tariffs on any country selling or providing oil to Cuba, effectively choking off fuel to the island. Mexico's president said on Thursday that the government was seeking diplomatic measures to allow the country to resume sending oil to Cuba, but emphasized that as soon as the ships return, they will send more support of different kinds. And on the international scene, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, the BNP, has won a landslide majority after the country's landmark election. This is a huge change of fortunes for the BNP's leader, Tariq Rahman, who has been in self-imposed exile in London. People were voting for a new government and were also taking part in a referendum to change the constitution. This is the first election held in the country since student-led protests in 2024 ended the 15-year rule of the increasingly autocratic leader, Sheikh Hasina. As many as 1,400 protesters were killed during the uprising, with Hasina accused of having directly ordered the crackdown, an allegation she denies. Well, that's the news. Let's recap the headlines. A 24-year-old of Grand Bay has emerged the new Miss Dominica. Danisha Yuseb won the title at Winter Park Stadium this morning. Mexico sends aid to Cuba as Cuba faces crisis after the United States shut down the supply of oil. On the international scene, Bangladesh Nationalist Party wins the landslide majority in first election since the Gen Z uprising. And coming up in sports, well, the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup has served up its first major upset with Zimbabwe beating Australia this morning. That's the news. Stay tuned for sports.
Blue Water's posse identified. Somebody pass blue water. Somebody bring blue water. Somebody get blue water. And we ready now. When you're feeling hard, take a blue water spray. Take a blue water spray. In your school or home, take a blue water spray. When the bus run out, take a blue water spray. Party posse water. Working posse water. School children they water. Blue water spray. The fitness posse water. The office posse water. When your posse need one, take a blue water spray. Somebody pass blue water. Somebody bring blue water. Somebody get blue water. Take a blue water spray.
Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
So fast pay, a new and easy way to pay. So fast pay, so fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So fast pay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. So fast pay, so fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Mars Dominic 2026 starts with your NBD credit card. Swipe and win. Hey, swipe and win. Just swipe and win. We swipe, use your NBD credit card or sign up for a new credit card and jump right in to win up to $2,500. What? Hey. Visit nbddominica.com for more details. Promotion ends February 20, 2026. Terms and conditions apply. Swipe and win. Swipe, we swipe in.
Well, welcome to the DBS Morning Sports Report. Let's bowl off with cricket news as the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup delivered its first upset of the tournament as Zimbabwe took down the mighty Australians earlier this morning. Zimbabwe batted first. They made a surprising 169 for 2 in their 20 overs. Brian Bennett got 64. Sikandar Raza 25 not out. Australia chasing 170, where they were bowled out for 146. Matt Renshaw got 65. We had Blessing Musa Babani taking a career best of 4 for 17. Zimbabwe won the game by 28 runs to pick up their second win in a row in the tournament. In the other match ongoing, well, Canada, they're taking on the United Arab Emirates. Canada batted first this morning. 150 for 7 is what they put up in their 20 overs. That's Canada 150 for 7. Junaid Siddiqui, he has 5 for 35 for the United Arab Emirates. The UAE, they will need 151 in their 20 overs to win. Later this morning, we'll see the United States taking on the Netherlands. That's the other game for this morning. That game will get underway at 9:30. Meantime, the West Indies captain, Shea Hope, has hailed Shufin Rutherford as special and says that the stats don't do justice to his natural talent. Rutherford hit an unbeaten half-century, leading the West Indies to a win over England this week.
You can just watch him and see how special he is. But sometimes we got to throw stats out the window every now and again. You know, you can just look at a player and see what impact he has on a team. If you can ask any bowler in world cricket, if they see Shurfin Rutherford at the next end, they're going to always feel as though they're under pressure. So that in itself speaks for itself. So I don't think we necessarily need to focus too much on the stats. I'm sure that they'll improve over the next few years because he's a quality player. Like I said before, I'm just happy to see him getting the success that he truly deserves because he's been playing really well, he's been training hard, and it's only a matter of time before the consistency comes. So happy for him.
And that's the West Indies T20 captain, Shea Hope. Well, the West Indies have won their first 2 matches and they will play Nepal on Sunday as they look to continue to advance in the tournament. Let's move on to some football news now. DFA President Glenn Etienne says changes are coming to the format of the DFA Division 1 League. Etienne says a 2-tier system will be introduced in order to make the league more competitive. He says plans are to implement the new format for the 2026 season.
What you're going to see in the Division 1 league, we're looking at some changes because we have 22 teams in that league. We figure it's too many teams in that league. So we'll have a Division 1 and then have a Division 2. So the top 10 teams will stay in the Division 1 and the remainder of the other teams will go down in Division 2. We will still have that relegation promotion system to create competition among all 3 leagues, but I think the 22 teams was too much in one division, so that even helped us in a lot of postponement of games. It makes the league a little bit more tardy, slack. So, you know, you want the better teams in a higher league, and then persons have the relegation promotion system that they can move up and down.
So would the same apply for the Women's League as well? Or?
The Women's League, we are still on the drawing board, you know. So we were, well, looking at having some similar stuff like that, but some persons, so we want to bring in the women's leaders that they can at least tell us what they think is best for them.
And that was DFA President Glenn Etienne. 3 teams are in with a chance to lift the 2025 DFA Women's Premier League title as the curtains come down on that competition. Just 1 point separates the league leaders, the Belfast Estate Mahusuka Strikettes, the defending champions, the Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers Starlights, and the former champions, New India Goodwill Runners. The title will be decided when the Goodwill Runners clash with the Bombers Starlights in the final match of the season. A win for either team will see them be crowned champions, while a draw will see Mahu lifting the title.
We are winding down the league right now. There are only 2 more matchups remaining in the league. That is between the Carnival Warriors and the Southeast Football Club, which is scheduled to take place this Friday. And we have the match that will basically decide the winner of the Women's Premier League between the Goodwill Runners and the Roosevelt Skerrit Portsmouth Bombers, which is scheduled for next week Thursday. Now, as the table stands, Maho sits atop the table by 1 point with 38 points, and they're trailed by the Roosevelt Skerrit Portsmouth Bombers with 37, who is joined with the New India Goodwill Runners with 47 points. Now, the game ahead on Thursday, next week Thursday, will be very important. Like we said, they'll decide who basically goes home with the trophy, and I'm sure the girls will come out to play very hard.
And that's DFA Women's Technical Officer Devon Coffey. Well, the Dominica Football Association has announced the postponement of the scheduled matches in the Women's League for this evening. Of course, our DFA will give, or the DBS Sports, will give you some more information on that. Meantime, the DFA President Glenn Etienne has expressed his frustration with the delay in completing the women's tournament. He says stricter measures will be put in place at the start of the next season.
Well, we are always concerned and we look at ways we can mitigate against this, but it's always a challenge. And I don't think it's just a challenge in Dominica. I think in the smaller islands, because when I talk to the other presidents, they have this similar challenges. We have to find ways to help, if you want to say it that way, these ladies in terms of coming to the games, because the numbers, some of the teams, they get 12 and 10, and that can be discouraging. But persons must not see women's football as a winning game. Yeah, we all want to win, but it's a development, and I'm saying that for the coaches, because too many times we see the coaches and them, they're not aggressive enough in that line. So we're hoping that they will understand it that way. I mean, we're going to have a meeting with even the women's, the leaders, that to interact with them so they can give us some suggestion and we can give them some of our suggestions. But it's not something that we have put on the back burner at all. So what we have to do at the FA is how we manage the women's league. And what have happened in the past that have dragged down the league into 2026. We are postponing a lot of games, and I don't think it's good for football. In 2026 this year, we'll have limited postponement of games. We're not saying that persons shouldn't have other activities, but some of the activities coincide with football, and we have to make certain decisions that we need to have this game played.
And that's the DFA President, Glenn Etienne. Still in football news this morning, the Dominica Grammar School edged out the Castleborough Secondary School as the sports division's secondary schools under 14 competition continued yesterday at Newtown. Tylon Theophil, he secured the only goal of the match to give his team that all-important win. In the other match at the same venue, the Pierre Charles Secondary School, they hammered the Northeast Comprehensive School 6-1. Scoring for the Pierre Charles Secondary School, we had Terence Laura getting a brace with Benaya Coates, Jaden Dura, Eugene Dennis, and Matthew Alexander, all scoring one goal each. Roshan Samuel got the lone goal for the Northeast Comprehensive School. And let's go back to some cricket news, because organizer of the Honorable Kasani Laville Maho Softball Cricket League, Roger Francis, says all is set for what promises to be an exciting season of night cricket in Maho, with the tournament officially bowling off on Sunday next week. Francis confirmed that the league will feature both a Premier Division and a First Division competition, with matches scheduled throughout the Lenten season.
The league is starting on the 22nd of February, where we're going to expect to have a great event of different matches all through the Lent season. we're asking teams to come out, we're asking the patrons to come out to support the softball cricket in night time. It's going to be night cricket, to really enhance the length season. Nowhere to go, you sit down with your family to have some fun and support your teams and stuff like that. Okay? In terms of the sponsorship, the Premier League, Honorable Casanova Premier Softball League, that's the name of the thing. We're asking sponsors to come on board because we try to let Maho to be one of the softball the home for softball nighttime for the people of Dominica. So nowhere to go in the evening. You come and watch some softball. You're going to have 8 teams taking part in the Premier League. You're going to have 4 teams taking part in the First Division League. It's going to be a great league this year. Last year was good. This year going to be greater.
And that was Roger Francis, the organizer of the Kasani Laville Maho Softball T20 League. And that takes us to the end of the DBS Morning Sports Report. More sporting highlights for you at 11 o'clock during the morning news update. On behalf of the entire News and Sports Department and our links person, Mia Joseph Dennis, I'm Gavin Richards saying good morning.
Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Mars Dominic 2026 starts with your NBD credit card. Swipe and win. Hey! Swipe and win. Just swipe and win. Swipe, we swipe. Use your NBD credit card or sign up for a new credit card. Jump right in to win up to $2,500. What? Hey! Swipe and win. Visit nbddominica.com for more details. Promotion ends February 20, 2026. Terms and conditions apply. Swipe and win. Swipe, we swipe in.
It is now 28 minutes to 8 o'clock. This time we present you with this morning's weather report. Brought to you compliments Big Edge Financial and the Flu.
You've got the edge over your circumstances. Many times there'll be trials to face. At least when it comes to your waning finances. You've got the edge, help is coming your way. You've got Big Edge for those days when you're running low. Big Edge is the place to go. Big Edge, the cash can be in your hand. With the easiest payment plans. Cash in a flash.
And the weather report for this morning recorded at 6 a.m. for today, Friday, 13 February. Synopsis, a high pressure system is the dominant feature. Forecast for today, fair to partly cloudy with brief isolated showers. Forecast for tonight, partly cloudy with isolated showers. The wind is at east to southeasterly at 10 to 30 kilometers per hour. Sea conditions slight to moderate. Waves 1 to 2 meters or 3 to 7 feet. There are no advisories at this time. The sun rose this morning at 6:31 a.m. and will set at 6:09 p.m. with low tide at 6:09 a.m. and again at 8:04 p.m. High tide at 2:06 a.m. and again at 12:33 p.m. The weather outlook for Dominica and the Lesser Antilles, a high pressure system is the dominant feature, resulting in a relatively dry atmosphere. Low-level clouds moving with the flow are expected to produce a fair to partly cloudy skies with brief isolated showers. Gradual improvements in sea conditions are expected to continue during the next 24 hours. Moderate to slight seas are expected, with waves picking up to 3 feet along the west coast and 7 feet along the east coast. This was the weather update for this morning, brought to you compliments the Big Edge Financial and Flow.